projects that we prioritize to finalize. There has been a lot done related to enhancing the whole engineering process defined around the system configuration language, enhance it with the capabilities to do further formal specification of a project. So there has been some work started in what we call what will be a technical report. It's currently called 6-100, but in fact the number will change. It's around enhancements of SCL for function modeling, but also for specification. Some of that work has been tested out in the OSMOS project, the European sponsored research project. Further building up on that, we are also working on a way to formalize the specification of basic application profiles, the BAPs that have been defined in a guideline 7-6 a while ago. We are now as well providing a way to be able to specify such a basic application profile around in SCL as well. That's a little bit related to engineering. Also, an important stuff related to engineering that we just started is to have a formal way to define all the rules that are currently in a textual way in the part 6 related to the schema, to allow also machine-based verification that the SCL files, the system configuration language files, are not only formally correct, but also semantically correct. So that's the first group around engineering. Besides that, we also have started some work to create a small but focused amendment 2, so a second amendment of the core parts, which will be like an edition 2.2 if you want. It's focused on some requirements we have from Working Group 17 that has prepared the standard 7420 for DR integration. And there were a couple of requirements on the base models that we are trying to put in this. It should be a rather focused small amendment of the core parts. And then last but not least, I would say as a top priority topic somehow is to consolidate a little bit the various technical reports that we are working on. Many of them are getting close to be finished, and based on that then start collecting the key features that we will put into the edition 3 of the standard. So we are starting to plan the 3rd edition of the standard, and we are now looking what will be the key elements that we put in. 150 have been recently involved in one that is pretty focused and trying to apply the latest concept again around the specification, which is a utility, the Stromnetze Hamburg in Germany. Mm-hmm. They are really applying the concepts that we developed in the 6-100 and have confirmed a little bit in OSMOS. They are trying to apply those. The key focus there is to create, as part of the specification, when the independent data model of the functionality that utility needs, that has been done over the last year, that has been developed, and now they are trying to apply that to specific vendor devices. So they have a first pilot project where they plan to apply this vendor independent model, map it on the device specific models using, if possible, flexible naming as much as supported by the vendor, and also the mapping concepts, how we can describe the mapping between a vendor independent model and the vendor specific model based on the 6-100. So they are basically now in the program, in the step to do a pilot project. Mm-hmm. The good thing there is as well, they are using process bus, including merging units, breaker interface, switch interface devices, and on the other side, some centralized protection concepts where they combine the protection for multiple feeders into one relay, taking the advantage that they have these breaker interfaces, switch interfaces as remote devices. They can, from an application perspective, collect multiple functionalities in one box. So it's a concept that basically applies the process bus concepts plus integration of protection into a kind of partially centralized. to meet all the people again in person after 2 virtual years. Finally, we are doing a real project, so we should also have a real conference. So that's definitely one of the points I'm looking forward to. It will also be interesting to see how the application of 61850 has progressed over all the time, hear about the new project. That's always interesting. And last but not least, I hope to learn either from presentations, maybe from contacts with people, also a little bit where we now are with applying 61850 as well to distributed energy resources now that the 7420 is published. Have made a major revision there. I think we have some excellent concepts now built in, and really interested to see if this will be applied as well or not.